Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Áine.
And this is our Meet Cute.
We did it.
Falling in love is funny. It's weird, awkward, happy, or sad. It's a vibe. Where if you know, you know. Or do you? More than anything, it's personal and all around us. Inspired by true events and performed by real actors, Meet Cute presents When I Met You.
So I'm a journalist, right? And I was researching this piece on the Burger Chef murders, which was this horrible triple homicide that took place in 1978 in Indiana.
Very romantic opener, right?
It is romantic. Just let me get to that part.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was looking up newspaper articles for my story on the murders, and Kevin was too.
Yeah, I grew up in Indiana. Actually, I remember the murders from when I was little. It was the same weekend that the Star Wars holiday special was on TV, and I remember thinking that was the biggest thing that was happening that weekend. Until my parents sat me down and told me about the Burger Chef murders. So it's kind of always been a part of my story. My whole life I was fascinated.
And Kevin's a lawyer now, and he's actually representing the sister of one of the original victims.
The case is still unsolved.
It's a really crazy, complicated case. So he was trying to do his own research, and he actually used...
Okay, wait, this is my part. Let me tell it.
Okay.
Okay. So I started talking to anyone and everyone who may have witnessed the crime, and I used this site, newspapers.com, to see who was downloading and flagging old articles about the case. And lo and behold, there's this girl in New York who seemed particularly interested.
He thought I could have been one of the suspects.
Well, you thought that I could have been the murderer too.
Well, when you reached out, emailed me out of nowhere, I was a bit worried. Plus, you're actually from Indiana. Like, how did he know I was looking into this anyway? Did I leave a trail somehow?
Okay, so we're just very paranoid people.
We're investigators. It's in our nature.
So I called her, and we started talking about the case. And right away, we just clicked. Would talk for hours and hours on the phone.
It was like we'd known each other forever. But of course, we both just thought, it was for our jobs and we were helping each other out.
Game recognizing game.
I think we both knew right away, though, that there was an attraction there. We just couldn't admit it.
Well, she couldn't admit it. I mean, especially her. We were both very focused on the case, yes. Eventually, she came out to Indiana to do more research. I picked her up at the airport, and I was a bit nervous.
Oh, and I remember thinking that he was so clumsy.
But
it was cute, actually, Okay, so we went to do some interviews at the motor speedway on that first trip, and I remember seeing him tripping over the fence on something marked the car petting zoo, and he was just sort of stuck straddling the fence, and I thought, how did that even happen?
I'm not the most graceful person.
But he's oddly charming because... he's so together and smart and on the ball, and he's just really good to talk to.
Oddly charming. You say oddly? Right when we first met, we had a 2-hour drive from the airport, and she just opened up and started talking to me about all these personal things.
And I don't even do that normally. It was just him. His whole vibe.
We were just comfortable with each other from the start.
But it was still a work trip.
So nothing happened.
And I went back to New York after a week to go write my story. But
we kept talking to each other. We couldn't stop talking to each other.
We still talked all of the time.
Yeah.
At first, it was just about the case and my article, but then it was about...
It was about everything. I think I knew first that there was something romantic there.
We're both very analytical people, so it's like we wanted to see if it would work before jumping in with both feet.
Yeah. But once we knew...
We knew. We were on the phone, actually, when we said something for the first time. It was actually Kevin that brought it up. He was like, okay, there's obviously something here.
I was being very analytical about it, data-based.
Total nerds. But we just wanted to be sure.
So we planned a trip to Niagara Falls.
And this was after we'd already sort of, decided we're committing to each other. We're going to try to make this work as a couple.
But we hadn't even kissed yet. Hadn't even held hands.
So, of course, there's all this tension, and the second we meet at Niagara Falls, we had this big, sloppy, awkward kiss. It was such a mess.
Yeah, it was not a great kiss. But it was the best kiss. And then I knew, even though it was awkward,
We both just knew that we were forever.
I'm quite a bit older than her.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of a bummer because, like, he's definitely gonna die first.
But we just fell so in love. And we moved in together right away.
And now we have a podcast about murder called The Murder Sheet. Not just the Burger Chef case, but every year on the anniversary of that murder, we'll revisit the case.
It's still unsolved, the triple homicide. It's horrible.
I guess in a morbid kind of way, it's sort of another anniversary for us.
Our murderversary.
I'm Áine.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is our
Meet
Cute.